Good morning, my Real News Media TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a productive day. And in the news this morning for March 5, 2024, Westmoreland businessman sentenced to 15 years after reportedly claiming to be licensed firearm holder. A Westmoreland businessman was on Monday sentenced under the new Firearm Prohibition Act to 15 years for illegal possession of a firearm and ammunition. Jason Barrett, 36, appeared before the St. James Gun Court where the ruling was handed down. Reports from the Westmoreland police are that about 12:30 a.m., a team of officers was on mobile patrol in the Big Bridge area when 36-year-old Barrett was reportedly seen at the front of a shop with a bulge to the right side of his waistband. Barrett was accosted and searched, and the firearm was reportedly taken from his waistband. The firearm was reportedly inspected and found to be a black and silver Smith & Wesson Springfield 9mm pistol with a magazine containing 16 9mm rounds of ammunition. Barrett thereafter informed the police that he was a licensed firearm holder. The police then requested that he produce his firearm user's license. It is alleged that Barrett then went to his vehicle and made checks and later told the police he left the license at home. The police later accompanied him to his home to retrieve the license. While at his house, he reportedly failed to produce the firearm license and thereafter admitted to the lawman that he is not the holder of a firearm user's license. Barrett was subsequently charged. Assistant Commissioner of Police Clifford Chambers confirmed with the news on Monday afternoon that Barrett was convicted for the maximum years. St. Catherine North clamping down on burglars, says DSP Toms. Operations Officer for the St. Catherine North Police, Deputy Superintendent Carmenda Toms, has sought to reassure residents that the police in the division are committed to tackling issues such as burglary, robbery, and housekeeping. DSP Toms was speaking with the Constabulary Communication Unit following the arrest of a would-be burglar and the seizure of a firearm in Spanish Town over the weekend. Reiterating the police's commitment to the safety and the security of its citizens, Toms said, "We are here for the long haul. We are determined. We are focused on ensuring that the citizens remain safe within this division. We want people to lock up their premises, their businesses, and to return in the morning and see the same in the order in which they left it." Reports are that about 2 a.m. on Sunday, March 3, the police received reports that men were attempting to break into a business place on St. John's Road. A police team swiftly responded and was reportedly met with a gunfire upon their arrival. The police returned the fire, and when the shooting subsided, one of the gunmen was apprehended. The police say they remain committed to capturing the other assailants. The lawman added that the incident not only resulted in the capture of one suspect, but also the recovery of a firearm. Anyone with information they believe can assist in the investigation is being urged to contact the police emergency at 119, Crime Stop at 311, the NIB tip line at 811, or the nearest police station. Toms has since issued a call to action for the community to remain vigilant and secure their properties. PNP files injunction to prevent a swearing-in of JLP's councillor-elect in Cornwall Mountain Division pending outcome of magisterial recount. Lawyers representing Abigail Malcolm, the People's National Party candidate for the Cornwall Mountain Division in Westmoreland, say her Jamaica Labour Party counterpart, Donette Foster, has been evasive in their efforts to serve her injunction documents. On Friday, Malcolm applied for an injunction through her attorneys Marisa McCurdy and the senior counsel Clayton Morgan, seeking to bar Foster from being sworn in as the councillor. They are demanding a magisterial recount in the division after the Electoral Office of Jamaica declared Foster the winner following the local government elections on February 26. In a slim margin of 27 votes, Foster polled 1,497 votes to Malcolm's 1,470. We applied for a magisterial recount in the Cornwall Mountain Division in Westmoreland on Friday, and we applied for an injunction to prevent the swearing-in of the candidate for the JLP, Ms. Donette Foster, but she has been very evasive as the bailiff is not able to locate her, McCurdy told the news on Monday. "We are also trying to serve the election petition on her as well, but Ms. Foster has been evading service." According to McCurdy, the hearing of the injunction seeking to prevent Foster from being sworn in is set for Tuesday, March 5 in the Westmoreland Parish Court, while the magisterial recount is set to commence on Wednesday, March 6. The news understands that the councillors-elect are scheduled to be sworn in on Thursday, March 7. Following the official count by the EOJ, the PNP won 11 of the 14 divisions in the Westmoreland Municipal Corporation, while the JLP won 3. Judge urges jury to carefully determine authenticity of audio recording. As the time draws closer to a verdict being delivered in the murder trial of Everton Beaches Town MacDonald and Oscar Barnes, Presiding Judge Chester Stamp implored the 7-member jury on Monday to analyze carefully whether to use or discard the evidence of alleged recordings of phone calls, which are being relied on heavily by prosecutors to secure conviction for the murder of MacDonald's second wife, Tonya. The jury is expected to deliberate and return a verdict before Friday on the fate of the two men. A mention was made that a superintendent of police, in his analysis, found that all those calls were made from phone numbers attributed to Mr. Minot and Mr. MacDonald. "You have to decide whether Denverlin Minot did record these conversations with Mr. MacDonald," Justice Stamp told the jury. The recordings are allegedly of phone conversations between MacDonald and the murder convict, Denverlin Bobla Minot, plotting the murder of Tonya. Tonya was murdered on July 20, 2020 on the main road in Sherwood Forest, Portland. She was repeatedly stabbed, her throat slashed, and her body burned with the Toyota Axio motor car she was driving. Minot was soon after captured by the police, who had been tipped off that he was possibly involved. He accepted a plea deal and agreed to give evidence against MacDonald and Barnes in return for a 19-year and a 10-month prison sentence that will see him becoming eligible for parole after spending 10 years in prison. Minot, a fisherman, confessed his guilt to detectives, claiming that MacDonald hired him for $3 million to kill his wife, but that he subcontracted the hit to Barnes, a random man who Minot said he met on a fishing beach in Manganill in Portland. Minot claimed that it was Barnes who committed the murder and that he only watched. While there was substantial evidence pointing to Minot's involvement, including bloody shoes, the main evidence which stands out against the Barnes is Minot's claim and that Barnes allegedly gave a caution statement to the police, which they took to mean that he could have some knowledge of the crime. Minot, in his testimony, told the jury that after Tonya was killed, it was a struggle to obtain the $3 million he said was promised to him by MacDonald. He claimed that it was during this time that he mysteriously came across an audio file saved on his phone. He said that when he played it, it turned out to be a recording of a call he had earlier had with MacDonald. Minot claimed that the recordings continued until it amounted to more than 120 audio files. Defense attorneys representing MacDonald suggested during their closing argument that Minot doesn't have the capacity to carry out such an undertaking, as he is illiterate and would be required to read and understand to be able to set up the call recording function. Minot had claimed that he saved the audio files under the name Vibes Cartel. However, an expert police witness said the name of the files were SIM1, followed by the date at the time of each recording. At the same time, data presented by the expert did not show evidence of the recordings being stored to an SD card that was allegedly inserted in a Samsung A31 cellular phone, as was the claim of Minot. On Monday, Justice Stamp told the jury that you can rely and act upon the evidence of the recorded conversations only if you are sure that the integrity of the phone and the memory card had not been compromised. By that I mean that it is the same phone and the memory card that was taken from Denverlin Minot and nobody tampered with or changed the evidence before analysis. The trial continues today. EOJ must share blame for election results confusion, commentators say. Social and political commentators say greater clarity should have been provided by the Electoral Office of Jamaica amid a raging debate about who won last Monday's local government election. Following the election, both the Jamaica Labour Party and the People's National Party had been claiming to have won the election, using contrasting arguments to stake their claim. Clarification that the JLP had indeed won came Saturday from the Electoral Commission of Jamaica, the board which oversees the operations of the EOJ. Jermaine Barrett argues that the EOJ should shoulder some of the blame for the public confusion in light of what he says was not the smoothest and most effective communication of the results to the public.
Even as they go about undertaking their assessment, I'm sure that they are really thinking about how things have gone on and what things need to be changed in order to be more effective at the role that has been assigned to them. I would want as well, though, for us to understand that we are seeing here a testing of the Local Government Act of 2016. It's a fairly new arrangement. We haven't had a local government election since then. That is how democracies work. You have to have sometimes some testing of processes and procedures in order for you to say, well, this isn't work or this is the interpretation that should apply. At the same time, though, I agree with Carl Narcisse that how this has been panning out in the public domain is bad for the democracy.
But Carl Narcisse, who has criticized the PNP's decision to claim victory, which she argues is adding to public confusion and is contradictory to the results of the EOJ, said the electoral body is seemingly scrambling to carry out parts of its mandate under the Local Governance Act 2016 and perhaps needs a team of lawyers to help it interpret the legislation accurately.
We all need to take a look and get familiar with the 2016 Local Governance Act. Now, the act is very, 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 it's clear enough, but it's certainly subject to, we could always go to court and say, look here, court, help us understand this better. So we have to now learn how to understand these different levels and how to interpret the law. And perhaps it seems as if the EOJ itself was struggling a bit, and I'm hoping that it has a team of lawyers who is helping them to understand and interpret the thing accurately.